Simje gunje nye jibo tamje kenla gunja sa. Okay, so we were discussing about the view, and yesterday we talked about the importance of understanding and practicing three jewels, and as well as the as a Buddhist, understanding and trying to accept these four realities would be the accepting or holding the Buddhist view, which is known as four sales, that all the compounded phenomena are emptiness, impermanent, and all the emotions and thoughts that is contaminated by duality, disturbing emotions, is suffering, and all the phenomena are devoid of empty and selfless, and nirvana is beyond concept or extremes. So today we will be discussing about the true truth, which is also closely related to the Four Noble Truths. So the basic idea is that Four Noble Truth is almost like our blueprint, so to speak, as a Buddhist. But Four Noble Truth is based on the true truth. So we can say that without understanding true truth properly, it is also hard to understand the mechanism of Four Noble Truths. And usually we say that true truth is something to be understood through study, and as a result, as a practical approach, we have to practice Four Noble Truths. So it is closely related to each other, as in something to be understood, and through that something that one should use that understanding as a practice in our daily life, which is Four Noble Truth. There is traditionally, traditionally, when we talk about true truth, it is usually talked in a little bit in terms of philosophical approach, and for example, um, generally, true truth is presented according to the four philosophical schools of Tibetan Buddhism. So, but I think it is important to know the details, but also it is very crucial and important to understand it from the practical point of view rather than the only philosophical point of view. So maybe I will try to explain it in a little bit how we can understand it and use it in our day-to-day life, so to speak. um, why it is necessary to understand and distinguish two truths is considered as an important. The one reason is that actually in the text it says that dungal natso milam bushitar. All our samsaric experiences, it's like when you're asleep and you're dreaming and having that kind of nightmare that you have the only child that is dying or that has been dead. So in a way, all our samsaric experience is kind of like dreaming. And so when we are going through that kind of suffering, how important it is to know dream as a dream. And it is very, very important because it makes everything different. Just knowing that dream is a dream, it's not reality, and reality is beyond what we are experiencing is very crucial. And similarly, since when we talk about the true truth, conventional truth and ultimate truth, we are just looking in our this life, the situations and our feelings and trying to figure out what is reality and what is illusion. That's it. So in this context, conventional truth would be illusion, dreamlike experience, and the ultimate truth would be the reality, or when you wake up and you understand that all these experiences were nothing but illusions. that's why even when we practice, for example, when you practice mind training, the first layer or the first practice that we should do or understand or to accumulate is that understanding all phenomena like nothing but a dream. So since it's talking about what is illusion and what is reality, and this is the whole ground for all our spiritual practices. And that's why this Four Noble Truth is also completely based on this true truth. It is just talking about that what is the result and what is the cause of reality, which would be the truth of cessation and the truth of path, and what is the illusion and what is the cause of illusion, which would be the truth of suffering and truth of origin. So if you look at it from that point of view, the Four Noble Truth, you have two samsaric phenomena, which is like illusion, and then two nirvana, or two cause and effect, which is beyond samsaric experiences, beyond the illusion, beyond the deceptive mind. So maybe so what is the relationship between this true truth and the view? As I said before, that true truth is object of our view, and when you do not understand the reality of true truth, you don't have a view. And when you have this complete understanding of true truth, and when you have this certainty mind, when you have this clarity about what is conventional truth and what is ultimate truth, and then this certainty, this clarity mind, this conviction actually is what we call the right view. So in a way, the true truth is the object of our right view. Now, to explain this true truth, sometimes we explain it through like a dependent origination and the emptiness. So in this context, when we talk about the dependent origination, it will be talking about our appearances, and then when we talk about the emptiness, it is talking about how things are. So in this context also you can say that the true truth is basically talking about how things that we experience, or how things that appear to us as in reality, and then how things are, how things appear to us and how things really are. And this is also why if you read texts like Samantha Batra's Aspiration, it says that actually the line between the nirvana and the samsara is just knowing and the not knowing. In the sense that, imagine you're having this nightmare. So what is different between the nightmare and the waking up? It's just knowing the dream as a dream, yeah? Or taking dream as a reality. It makes all differences. So um, so let's discuss first the conventional truth. um, in the text it says that um, so there is this undeniable reality of dependence which we experience in our life. But then also there's a certain reality that goes beyond our experiences. And let's say the dependent origination of our appearance and the empty aspects of its nature. And it is very important to understand both, because for example, in Buddhism, what we say is that the view of Buddhism is middle way. The reason is because it does not fall into the extremes of nihilist and the eternalist, existence and non-existence. Because as long as you fall into the extremes, there's always certain kind of hooks and clinging which is not authentic. So now, what makes this view as a middle way view is that when you understand the appearance aspects of such as dependent origination, in this context let's say conventional truth, it will help us to not to fall into the extremes of nihilist, non-existent. Because once you understand the dependent origination, it's almost impossible to deny the appearance and the functions of appearances. And once you understand the another reality of that phenomena, which is emptiness. In this context, we can call it selflessness or emptiness. And then you won't fall into the extremes of existence, eternalist. So this is very, very crucial, but at the same time, it is very difficult to understand and also very difficult to accept, because our ordinary mind is almost designed to choose one of them instead of being in the middle. Right or wrong? Good or bad? Is it exist or is non-exist? So we have this almost the characteristics of dualistic mind, which we wanted to establish everything according to the extreme. But again, this is coming from our dualistic mind and the ignorance. The reality of things is not like that. This is what we call the unity of appearance and the emptiness. So as long as you don't understand the nature and the mechanism of these two things, how they are not different, but it has a different aspect. So that's why in the text it says that as long as you don't understand the undeniable functions of appearance or the dependent, and as long as you don't understand the nature of that dependent, which is emptiness, and you take it as in something like two different things, you are still quite far from the Buddha's intention. It means still we are not close to it. So in samsara, for example, let's put it this way. There's a classic example, maybe this will be helpful to us to understand. Let's say there's a you're going to, let's say you come to some places, and then there's a multicolored robe, and then because of certain causes and conditions, you thought you mistaken the robe as a snake, and you are completely freaked out, and you're scared. So from the Buddhist point of view, actually our experiences, whether it is external or it is internal, it's not much different from that experiencing something and that is not real, but we're taking it as a real and getting scared. So now, if you look at this analogy, not understanding the rope as a rope and getting scared will be the conventional truth. And then the rope, and seeing rope as a rope and getting rid of would be the seeing rope as a rope and completely freeing from this scaredness and the illusion would be the conventional ultimate truth, just to make it simple. Now, to relate it to that into the Four Noble Truth, so through the ignorance, not knowing what is reality, and then being this unnecessary, irrational, irrelevant scaredness would be our suffering. And then if we really look at our daily sufferings, mostly if you really analyze them, if you really do some introspection, you will find that most of them are just mental, irrelevant and irrational worries, nothing but that, or the labeled sufferings. Now, if you look at this situation, so why this scariness is coming from? What are the causes and conditions? Is this coming just out of nowhere, or there's a reason why this is happening? Of course, there is a reason. First of all, there's this rope, which is looks like a snake somehow, and also I am a human being, and somehow naturally I have a habit of getting scared from the snakes, and then also there is situations or the conditions that maybe there's no light or something like that. So all these conditions, the colorful rope, having this phobia of snake, and then all these, maybe I'm in a rush, so I didn't check it properly. All these are causes and conditions to happen that suffering, that scariness. And these are all, you can call it, among the Four Noble Truths, the truth of origin. Now here, very, very important, because this two truth is very much related to the truth of origin. So, from the Buddhist point of view, if we analyze these situations, okay, so because of the colorful rope, because of my habit, because of my rashness, and mindful carelessness, this happened. So what is the condition for our suffering is that it says that there are three factors it creates that suffering. So the first one is that imagine that there's a rope, and then maybe some other animal, maybe who like to eat snake.